Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I've been reading the Stonewall Reader, published by Penguin Classics, and here and there I've been quoting little excerpts that I've come across. It is a composite book, an anthology of writings pertaining to the events at Stonewall, the uprising or riot, and the gay movement evolving from that. And there has not been an essay that has been devoid of just something remarkable. Some of these pieces are just so perfect, and I'm going to read some writing by whoops, I've lost my place now. By Stephen F. Dansky. And I'm not sure, number one, that I understand everything he's saying, and number two, I'm not sure that I even agree with everything that he's saying, but the writing is just amazing. Let me see what I have here. I knew I wanted to read from this earlier, and it did not. I don't like to make marks in my books. So, Stephen F. Dansky is an activist, writer, and photographer who was a member of the Gay Liberation Front and a founder of eFeminism, a movement of pro-feminist men, and so forth. He's written other essays, and as with other writers in this anthology, I think I will seek out other essays. It makes me realize that the moment we are at right now in the United States of America is we had the movements of the 1960s, and then they sort of were stopped, and it is time for us to pick up the baton that was kind of dropped in the 1970s and to move on with it and get back to these ideals which were much cherished and professed amongst the so-called hippie generation that the likes of Stephen Miller are so eager to denigrate nowadays. So this is, I'm not sure why it's titled Hey Man. Every man growing up in his culture is programmed to systematically oppress, dehumanize, objectify, and rape women. A man's cock, a biological accident, becomes the modus operandi by which a male child is bestowed with power by this culture. A mere couple of inches of flesh places this male child in a position above half the human race, and there is no man who does not benefit and glorify in the power inherent in this birthright. Every expression of manhood is a reassertion of this cock privilege. All men are male supremacists. Gay men are no exception to the maxim. The ability to express homosexuality, however, carries with it a severe penalty in our culture because of the nature of the taboo placed upon homosexuality by this male-dominated heterosexual society. Straight men abhor homosexuality because of their inability and inadequacy when it comes to expressing love for another man. Heterosexual men are driven to abuse women because they can't directly express the love they have for each other. They literally fuck their friends' women because they are unable to fuck their friend. This observation has been born of the experience of most women in the communal situation in the hip counterculture. Homosexuality is a manifestation of the breaking down of male roles. This unacceptable affront to conventional manhood forces male straight society up against the wall, so much so that they must suppress, repress, and oppress all signs of a life-giving homosexuality and force it into their warped, death-dealing definitions. Their task then becomes a bludgeoning of homosexuality into parodistic expressions within this culture. Gay men are violently driven toward a false goal, the mutation of homosexuality into a male heterosexual personae. This results in the constant struggle of gay men to fit themselves into a heterosexual ideation of manhood. The gay man is asked to love, emulate, and worship his oppressor. The oppression gay men suffer has shown the validity and absolute necessity for a struggle for gay liberation. We have begun in our struggle for liberation to reject the internalization of this male heterosexual identity. Gay men must examine all forms of their homosexuality and be suspicious of all of them, because the ways we express homosexuality have been molded by male supremacy. The gay liberation struggle will not reach beyond the civil libertarian goals of the homophile movement until it can see how deeply ingrained and oppressive is this idealization of male heterosexuality within each of us. And there was a couple of lines further on that I thought interesting too. Our homosexuality can be a revolutionary tool only if we abandon our self-destructive attempts to fit the warped roles given us by the male heterosexual system. The fear that one might be thought homosexual by another man. This fear is a powerful goad keeping men, both homosexual and heterosexual, in line as the oppressors of women. It is one of the many ways that men hold on to their privileges derived from oppression. Our task lies before us. Our goal is stopping the propagation of the male heterosexual ethos by any means necessary. I've always been a little bit leery of that phrase, by any means necessary, but I think the agenda or the program put forth here is a very good one. I think as a white male in this society, it's always been a little bit easier for me to strive away from self-identification. That is, away from having to put labels on myself, and I can see that as an ideal universal goal. However, when one has a label from the outside placed upon oneself, such as those wrought of the artificial concept of race, then one, almost as a survival mechanism, is forced to counter that with a self-identity, a self-definition. But we who belong to the Confederacy of Poets, I think possibly more than others, are able to weasel our way out from that. Not that I have been successful, and indeed I have also seen the uses of self-identification. But I think what this, what was it? I keep thinking Sal Alinsky, no, Stephen F. Dansky is saying, nevertheless, represents an ideal to work toward. And even in the parts where I'm really not clear about what he is saying or what he is proposing, I think it is so strongly worded that it is worth the attention. So I just, again, can't reiterate enough my estimation my high estimation of this anthology published by Penguin Classics. You can find it fairly cheaply. It's an anthology wherein just about every essay or every interview is no more than, on average, something like 4 pages. There may be something 6 pages. But that makes it a very easy read. You can just read a little bit and set the book aside. So I heartily recommend this to everybody. Thank you for stopping by my channel.